Hello everyone, welcome to the weekly Purple Penny video. It's 12 o'clock on Monday, Adelaide time, which means of course it's time for this video. We've been doing them this time for coming up to 3 years now. My name's Mark. I run the Purple Penny along with my wife Catherine. We're in Mawson Lakes, which is a suburb to the north of Adelaide, which is the capital of South Australia. And welcome. So you would probably know that last week was a mint release week, so that was last Thursday, and Catherine and I had Friday and Saturday off. So those of you who are waiting to hear back from us about orders and things like that, please just be patient as we work through them. It was a new release week last week, and even though we did sneak in and do a few hours work on Sunday, it still does take us a little while to get through all of these things, so please just be patient. So only open 2 days, but we did quite a bit of work in the 2 days that we were open. Lots of buying and lots of selling. And Thursday was as busy as expected with the Tooth Fairy release, and as I suggested, the hard coin to get was the Fighting Spirit Kangaroo coin. We only got a very small number of those. We could have sold 4 or 5 times the number that we got. We didn't make any available online through our website. They were just available to people in the shop. We did have small numbers of the Tooth Fairy and Centenary of Legacy coin available on our website, and they sold out fairly quickly. So thank you everyone for your support during the release last week. Thank you for your patience on Thursday if you came in here and you were had to wait because we were quite busy on Thursday. Kudos to Catherine and Jared, because certainly behind the scenes on Thursday everything ran here really smoothly. There was no hiccups at all. Everything was well sorted, so well done to Catherine and Jared for that. Right, let's jump into the news. So we've already done the first item there about the March release wrap-up. I haven't had a look to see what any of these things are going for on the secondary market, but certainly that Fighting Spirit Kangaroo coin was keenly sought. Now, I don't really understand why that series has never been popular, but the mint has dropped the mintage down to 2,500, which meant there's a bit of artificial scarcity there. So if you really want one for your collection, I hope you did manage to get one. The mint was a little bit quick this week, so we got notification of April's RAM releases on Wednesday night, which is a little bit earlier than what they usually manage to do. So I'll pop up a slide just running through those releases in a minute, but before that we'll just say a few hellos. Hello Greg, Mike, John, Ogie, Brett, Michelle, Carolyn, Jason, Paul, another Brett, Muriel, Sandy, Adam, Peter, and Brian. Thanks everyone for joining in today. It's good to have some live viewers today. Right, let's have a look at what the RAM releases are. So the themed $2 coin is 50 years since the end of Australian involvement in the Vietnam War. There's going to be a C mint mark $2 coin, a coloured $2 coin. There is no roll. Please don't ask us if there's a roll, because there is no roll. What is new is that there is a $2 C mint mark fine silver proof coin, which I believe is, and Catherine believes, is the first time this has happened. There hasn't been a C mint mark $2 silver proof coin before. Now the line listing says that it's coloured. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. But with a mintage of just 5,000 of them, it's probably going to be a very sought after coin. Because of that, we're not taking any expressions of interest on that coin. We're only expecting to get a few, and we'll be able to. We just don't want any expressions of interest on those, because everyone will end up being disappointed, unfortunately. But we are taking interest on all the other items, just not that silver proof coin. So 50 years since the end of Australia's involvement in the Vietnam War. $2 C mint mark coin, 80,000 mintage, recommended retail price $15. The C mint mark coloured fine silver proof coin, 5,000 mintage, recommended retail $80. No, we don't know what the weight is on that coin yet, Brian. We don't know anything other than what you can see right here in front of you. The mint usually doesn't release information sheets about these items until just before release. And then we've got a suite of coins which are to do with 50 years since the opening of the Sydney Opera House. There's a 50-cent uncirculated coin on a card, 50,000 vintage, RRP $12.50. A half-gram Brilliant Unk Opera House coin, 5,000 vintage, RRP $90. Now they are probably going to be like those little half-gram gold coins in that the wildlife coins were issued last year and the year before in lighthouse slabs. There's a selectively gold-plated silver-proof version of the Opera House coin, 5,000 vintage, RRP $110, and a $5 1-ounce silver-proof domed coin to do with the Opera House as well, 7,500 vintage, RRP $130. There is also a 1-ounce gold domed coin, which I believe is $3,500. The gold one, which we haven't listed here because we never sell them. So that's the releases for next month. First Thursday of the month, Thursday 6th of April. If you are interested in any of the releases, do contact us, but as I said, don't ask about the silver proof $2 coin because we're not taking any EOIs on that coin. So let's jump back to the news here. There was a few news items that came up this week, and thank you to Helen, and let me think who else told me. Greg, for pointing out a couple of articles here which I've talked about. The first one is Nigerian banknotes. So the Prime Minister of Nigeria announced a complete redesign of their banknote systems in the middle of last year, and only gave the Nigerian population a very short amount of time to turn in their old banknotes. When that deadline fell due, there wasn't enough supply of the new banknotes, so as such, they've extended that deadline to cash in the old ones many times. And the net result is that lots of Nigerians are extremely unhappy because they can't get the new banknotes. The old banknotes are starting to get refused around the country. The Prime Minister seems to have overwritten a lot of the legal processes in Nigeria. His reasoning behind the redesign of the notes was to try and control inflation and to stop what is a huge industry in Nigeria, which is kidnapping for profit, where they kidnap people and collect ransoms. The idea was to prevent the old notes being used to pay those off, or to prevent the kidnappers from being able to spend the old notes. So that's a really interesting story about, I guess, how good we've got it here in Australia, where our government doesn't try to change the money on the drop of a hat. And if we want cash, we can get it whenever we like, unlike the Nigerian people who are having to line up at the moment to get it. Sandy says, what does selectively gold-plated mean? It means that regions of the coin are selectively gold-plated. So it's not the entire coin, it's just parts of the design that are gold-plated, Sandy. That's what it means. Interesting story from that was fed to me from Greg, who I believe is watching today, about NGC instituting a lawsuit against a coin dealer in the USA. Coin dealer in the USA, which is who is using multiple eBay IDs, is somehow opening up NGC coin holders and replacing higher graded coins with lower graded coins, and then selling them either on the wholesale market or through eBay or through different auction sites. So NGC has successfully applied to, I believe, the Supreme Court in the USA to get an injunction placed against that gentleman who is committing these crimes. I mean, they're essentially crimes. He's committing fraud, and it's looking like he could get fined up to $200,000 per instance of that particular nefarious activity. So that's a reminder to us that if we are buying graded coins from NGC or PCGS, to make use of their online certification checking systems, where you can check usually the photograph of the coin against a real item and make sure that you are getting the same coin. So interesting story there about someone removing coins from NGC slabs and replacing them with lower graded examples. Next item is not coin related, but it is metal detecting related, and you would know by now that I do like my metal detecting stuff, and this is something that I popped up on one of my other feeds. A gentleman in 2019 who had only been metal detecting for a little while metal detected an absolutely amazing gold necklace. over 300 grams of 24 karat gold, hundreds of links in the necklace, and then there was a enamel and gold pendant attached to the necklace. One side of the pendant has a Latin motto, the other side has the initials H and V, which is the initials of Henry VIII, and is it V? I've forgotten now. H and K, sorry. Henry VIII, and K for Catherine of Aragon, and Catherine of Aragon was Henry VIII's first wife. So as far as we can tell, this is the only item of this particular type that still exists from that particular part of the Tudor era. Nothing of this quality exists anywhere else in the world from that particular era, and the fact that it is directly linked to the King and Queen of England at the time is quite remarkable. What's it worth? I guess your guess is as good as mine. I guess the sky is the limit for this sort of thing. As you would know, the metal detectorist will share any proceeds from the sale of this item with the landowner that he found the item on. Did Catherine of Aragon wear it? Because it is believed to be a woman's necklace, because it is quite small. Probably not. These sorts of things were given as tournament prizes, and there is a lot of documentary evidence of Henry presenting these sorts of prizes at tournaments. So it was probably never worn. It was probably lost, and was found in 2019 by a metal detectorist. It has just gone through the British Treasure process, and now it has been publicised for the first time. So a really quite remarkable find. Amazing that you could find something like this in the ground over there. So we'll just jump back to the last news item here. So this is something that I saw pop up this morning. There is a requirement in Australia for businesses to log transactions over $10,000. It's called AUSTRAC, and the Perth Mint has been in trouble for the last several months because of their reporting requirements have not been met. And there was a news story that popped up this morning about a notorious Western Australian bikie who wandered into the Perth Mint in Perth last year and spent $27,000 on gold without a question, in cash, over the counter, without a question from anyone from the Perth Mint. So, I think the Perth Mint is in a bit of trouble. As Brett has just said, Four Corners is doing a story on the Perth Mint tonight. Lots of people think that the Perth Mint is just a tourist attraction, but it is actually the world's biggest processor of gold bullion. It's responsible for processing 10% of the world's mined gold every year, so it is a big, big business. It isn't a tourist attraction. It is a huge business, and they could be in a serious amount of trouble if they're found to have been neglecting their statutory requirements. It's quite a remarkable story. It could be a huge story. Now, last week or the week before, I can't remember, a collector up in Queensland, who we know very well and we've known for a long time, he sent us down a box of coins that he wanted to get rid of, and we never know what we're going to get from this gentleman. Sometimes it's nothing, and sometimes it's eye-popping stuff. This time it was eye-popping. He sent down a group of wrong or foreign planchet errors of the like that we'll probably never see again. And I thought I would share some of those with you today. So just recapping what a wrong or foreign planchet error is: it's when a coin is accidentally struck, or perhaps deliberately struck, on a blank that it was not intended to be struck on. So for example, $1 on a 10-cent coin, a 10-cent coin on a 5-cent coin, a 10-cent coin on a 2-cent coin, a $2 on a 5-cent coin. It could be an Australian coin on a foreign blank, or a foreign coin on an Australian blank. Now, these things can and do happen. We probably handle maybe 1 or 2 a year, if we're lucky. They're very scarce. There's a bit of conjecture about whether they're deliberate or actual errors. Now, I think that they're probably a mix of both. One of the most famous wrong planchet errors in world numismatics is the 1943 US bronze cent. They were all supposed to be struck on steel blanks, but somewhere around about the region of 10 of them have been struck on bronze blanks. And the theory is there that those bronze blanks were jammed in machines and accidentally got into the striking process. So they were genuine errors. So let's just have a look at these errors. So the first one here is a 1943 S florin that is struck on a 5 gram 35% silver blank. So the clue here about what it is the S mint mark. S stands for San Francisco. It means this was struck in San Francisco. During World War II, many of our coins were not struck in Australia because all of our excess manufacturing capacity was being used for the war effort, whereas countries like America, who had a huge manufacturing base, could still produce coins. But their quality control wasn't the best, and as such, sometimes the blanks contaminated the production of coins for other countries. So in this case, 5 gram, 35% silver, as Brandon has so rightly pointed out there, is the same size and silver content as a US war nickel, which indeed weighs 5 grams and has 35% silver. So here we have an Australian florin struck on a US war nickel. We have seen Australian florins struck on US war nickels and shillings, and I believe there is a threepence kicking around somewhere, and they are all a result of failures in the quality control processes in the US mints. So that is a quite remarkable error, graded by PCGS as MS64, certified as being struck on a war nickel. So quite a amazing foreign planchet error there. Next one up is one that we've never actually handled one of these before. It's a 1970, sorry, I can't read the number, 1971 10 cent struck on a 4.93 gram planchet that is 97% copper, 2 and a bit percent zinc, and the rest of it is tin, which of course is the composition of bronze that is used for Australian coins here. 4.93 grams is within the tolerances for 2 cent coins, so this is almost certainly a 10 cent coin that was accidentally struck on a 2 cent planchet. As I said, we've not handled one of these before, but I have seen a few sell at auction. How did this happen? Well, it could have been deliberate, I guess. It could have also been accidental with blank contamination. Back then, the mint was sourcing its own blanks, making its own blanks, and perhaps, somehow a blank got stuck in a machine, in a hopper, got accidentally put in with some 10 cent blanks, but the result is a bronze 10 cent piece accidentally struck on a 2 cent blank. Again, quite a remarkable error there. Another 10 cent piece is next. 5 cent on a 10 cent, 10 cent on a 5 cent blank. So this is a 2.8, again the numbers are too small, 2.85 gram planchet, 74% copper, 26% nickel, 0.2% manganese, close enough to the copper nickel composition that our copper nickel coins use. The weight is dead on for a 5 cent piece. We've seen these before, we've handled a few of these, and we actually saw a roll of them, a roll of 5 cent pieces opened at a coin show many years ago that had 2 of these in the roll. So almost certainly an actual error rather than a mint sport that was created by mint staff. 10 cent on a 5 cent blank. Again, quite a remarkable coin. So the last one here is one that I never thought we would ever handle. So this is a coin that we first saw back in 2017. It's a 20 cent piece struck on a 10.73 gram planchet. The core is dead on for copper nickel, 75, pretty close to 75% copper, 25% nickel. The ring on the outside is mostly copper with other materials in there, so it can be safely assumed that that's brass or bronze or something. We wrote a story on this back in 2017, and at the time we did a comprehensive survey of all the bimetal coins that were minted in 2000 and 2001, and we came up with a match on this one. It matches quite nicely with an Iranian 250 reals, which is a 10.7 gram brass ring copper nickel core coin. Now, you wonder how this could have possibly contaminated Australian blanks. Well, there has been documented instances of Australian coins being struck on other foreign blanks from around this era, and that's because the mint, back then at least, sourced all their blanks from a supplier in Korea. And obviously the supplier in Korea didn't just make blanks for Australia, it also made them for many other mints, and it is quite conceivable that the blanks in the South Korean manufacturing facility somehow contaminate the supply of blanks that are sent to the Royal Australian Mint, and that's almost certainly how this happened. How did it get out there? We don't know, but certainly we've heard secondhand stories of a 20-cent piece struck on a triangular brass blank, believe it or not, a triangular brass blank being pulled out of a roll at a supermarket. So these things just get out into circulation somehow. Now this particular coin is the second one of this particular type of era that have been discovered. The other one sold in early sort of the mid-2000s. This one last sold in 2017 for $8,000 plus commission at auction. So it is uncirculated, but unfortunately someone has wiped it. When it was discovered back in 2017, the person who found it, we believe, probably cleaned it, because the discovery photographs that we first saw back in 2017 showed the hairlines. We got to examine it after it went into the auction, and it had the hairlines on it then too. So someone, almost certainly the person who found it, cleaned it, which was a bit of a misguided thing to do. Don't clean your coins, but good luck finding another one of these. At the moment, there's only 2 of these known, and this is one of them, a pretty remarkable foreign planchet error. Right, that's it for today. I was pleased to be able to show some interesting coins there. Let's have a look if we've got any questions here. Hello Tanya, how are you? Hi Daryl, thanks for watching. Hi Gloria. Hi Joseph. Gloria, how do they get a fill roll or just one error mixed in? Well, Gloria, the coins are fed into roll machines from hoppers of coins or bags of coins or drums of coins. And given that the wrong blank doesn't jam up the machine, the rolling machine, so perhaps it's too big, then they will just get into rolls. They'll pass through the machine and get into a roll with everything else. Those many noodlers out there have got $2 rolls, for example, that have got 5-cent pieces in them, or $10 rolls that have got 10-cent pieces in them. So smaller coins can and do get into rolls. Not very often, but it does certainly happen. We've certainly, back when we used to do a little bit of noodling, got 5-cent pieces in $2 rolls on several occasions, so it does happen. Right, that's it, I think. Hello Spencer, how are you? Thanks for joining in. That's it for today. Thanks everyone for watching. I think next week we might do another Q&A. It's been 4 weeks since the last one, so please shoot through your questions that you'd like me to address next Monday. Facebook message, email, phone call, smoke signal, whatever you prefer. If you've got any questions you'd like me to address, then please send them through to me. And if I don't know the answer, then the worst I can do is resort to wild speculation, because I do love a bit of wild speculation. Thanks everyone for watching. Happy collecting. Stay safe, and we'll be back next week. Bye for now.